Hoosier champions. Now, we all seen on Monday that the first ever, championship in program history. Let's take a look at the bracket for first time national champions ever in program history by the University of Indiana. Bloomington, the Indiana Hoosiers win their first title ever. Kurt Signetti wins his first national championship as a head coach, and he does it in year 2, which is absolutely insane. And he told us that quote, "I win, Google me." And he backed it up. Just look at the path that they had to take. They had a first round bye, and everybody always talks about how to bye hurts people, how to bye is terrible, how to bye kills your momentum and you can't move on. Well, Indiana, put that to rest because they dominated the whole playoff.
Would hurt 3 of those teams. The other one won the national championship. What else can we say? I mean, I don't want to say that this was an underdog performance, but because of how much Indiana spends in the transfer portal, but this was the laughingstock program of the Big Ten for quite a long time before this happened, and the turnaround that Signetti's been able to, just the miracles that he's been able to work in just 2 years at Indiana is just incredible.
Yeah, no kidding. And I mean, it's just a very likable team as well. Just a bunch of guys who never really got their chance the first time around. They all come in, they make themselves have names basically, and a lot of that obviously is a tribute to the work that Kurt Signetti did. It's just a very football guy, and I'm very happy. I loved hearing him say, "I'm going to have a beer" immediately after winning the national championship. That's a guy who that's a guy that I feel like anybody would want to play for at this point, and this is going to be a real big game changer for Indiana. And who knows what kind of money Signetti could be offered to go somewhere else after a couple of years.
And that's the thing. Like, I personally want to say that I don't want to say that I was right, but I was right.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I thought Georgia was going to win the national championship because of who they had, and I thought they had the easiest path to get there. I didn't think the toughest competition was going to be to Texas Tech, but Texas Tech didn't even. I mean, their offense didn't even show up at all in that game against Oregon. So that put my things to rest. But I said Georgia, but then I thought Indiana after if Georgia doesn't make it there, just because of the coach and Fernando Mendoza Heisman Trophy. People talk about how he was one of the worst Heismans. He shouldn't have been a Heisman. Well, he really should have put that to rest last night, or put that to rest on Monday, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he played well.
I want to give props to Miami as well. I really thought even at the end, I thought that Carson Beck had it in his hands to put his draft stock through the roof in that game. Didn't end up happening, but for a team that I didn't even think should have made the playoffs, they made a heck of a run, upsetting Ohio State, the defending national champs, taking down the SEC's arguably best team this year in Ole Miss, and then giving the best team in the country who'd rarely been tested all year a run for their money. You got to give credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I mean, Miami, I think their run has, in a way, bolstered the college football playoff just because it shows that you can be below a top 8 team, below a top 5 team, and still make a run. And obviously, we're kind of looking at the interesting factor of these 1 through 4 seeds, how many of them really get the benefit of getting the bye. So that's something that they're going to definitely have to look at in the near future. But Miami played well. They were one underthrown pass away from maybe even taking this thing from Indiana. But I mean, Carson Beck, obviously he wants that throwback, but you also have to give credit where credit's due. They made a great run, and I really think that Fernando Mendoza making that run on 4th down, running through people, diving into the end zone, that blew the roof off the place.
That's crazy. Jalen, you got a rebuttal to that?
No, I thought that Georgia had the best team. They, I thought if they played Indiana, I think that was the only team that I thought could really actually beat Indiana outside of Texas Tech in the champ. Because Texas Tech, I saw their defense up close. I thought.
I think his audio cut out for a sec, but I wanted to say that it might be time potentially to have a conversation about the SEC. I mean, like they've been struggling the last couple of years. Bama did not look good at all against Indiana. I didn't think Oklahoma was very good this year. Ole Miss was really, them and Georgia were the only two teams out of the supposed top conference in college football to really make a run this year of any level. I mean, they gave each other a run in that game. Vanderbilt, who I thought should have had a spot in this playoff, lost to Iowa in their bowl game, and it's not like they were one of the teams where guys weren't playing. Everyone played. Like, I think it's time to have a conversation about the SEC.
I think this is the Big Ten tier, but I don't think that you can rule out that I think the SEC top to bottom is much closer together than the Big Ten is, in my opinion.
And then in brackets, you got to pick an upset. So I picked Texas Tech to upset Indiana, but I thought, I thought Indiana was complete, but I thought they were going to just get upset by Texas Tech. That's all. And then after that, I thought Texas Tech was going to go like on a run, and then I thought they were going to lose to Georgia, which that's what my bracket had. But I was also rooting for Indiana because also one of my coworkers went to Indiana, so we kind of was hoping that they get one, and I'll be able to see one in first ever. Not too many times you can say you watched a program win their first ever national championship, in which you would go down in history and know where you were and what you were doing in that moment of when they won the first one. So it's like the Chicago Cubs almost when they won their first World Series. I know Brewers fans don't like to hear that, or Pirates fans.
I mean, even Badger fans too. We don't know what that's like either. We've never won a football, not that I know of, at least, not in our lifetimes.
Yeah, that's true.
We haven't even made the playoff yet.
I will say Michigan State made the playoff 1 year, 1 or 2 years, one of that, and I was happy to see that. So Michigan State football was actually good at one point, but to probably close on this right here, very proud of Indiana. Just happy to see good football. And I will say that they could win it all again next year. They have top 3, top 10, top 5 actually. Transfer portal class coming in. They have freshmen coming in as well. Indiana's going to be around for a long time. And Kurt Cignetti, I think he might be like Coach K. Don't go anywhere. Now I'm not saying he got the right job come along, then obviously he might bounce. But I feel like he could be a Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, staying at one school and just dominating the whole college.
I mean, I think it's possible with how much Indiana puts in their NIL investment for football these days. Their budget's one of the highest out of everybody. So I don't see why, as a coach, you'd want to leave there. Like, just because you can use that money and now you have the reputation with winning a national championship, making the playoff last year, building up a program from the literal ground. I mean, like, why would you want to leave there? Like, you got such a good racket going. Everyone loves you. The guys love you. Everyone plays their hearts out for you. Like, why would you not stay there? Like, Indiana's a great racket right now.
Yeah, it's a great place to be right now. And then shout out Marquette University High School grad Riley Nowakowski for scoring the first touchdown of the game. Wisconsin product, former Badger. Obviously made a transfer and it worked out for him pretty well. So, yeah, but quarterback situation is going to be interesting after Fernando Mendoza goes to the league and his brother Alberto enters the transfer portal.
Yeah, we'll respond to this real quick before we move on. I don't think he's dumb. They have Hoover coming in there from TCU, and you already know who's going to start, right? You know who's going to start when that kind of a quarterback is coming in. And, it ain't that they don't believe in you. It's just that they see you as a backup, and if you were the guy to take over, Hoover would have never even been looked at. You would have been the guy. So I think he should go to Georgia Tech with a little chip on his shoulder. And not saying that Indiana, soldier, but they got one of the best, probably second best quarterback to come in the portal. So I think that's pretty good for Indiana and Alberto. I think he's doing the right decision for his career to go to transfer to Georgia Tech and actually start. So